second to last, respect the game. Rule number one, never count your homie pockets thinking you deserve it. Rule number two, never trust a bitch that'll fuck you for some purses. Rule number three, say you some of that money shit, you better start splurging. Cause when it's all said and done, and you back at the bottom, they gon' treat you like you worthless. Respect the game. It's crazy, yo, cause the reason why I do my intros with music is because music speaks a lot to me. I hear a lot within music that always seems to just resemble my current life, right? For those of you that don't know, my name's TC. Why are you watching this video? Now, I've been on self-improvement for the last 2 years at least, and counting. And what I've realized is that there's a trap that happens within self-improvement, right? Now I'm going towards a more spiritual lane, but also attached to that is an egotistical side that I'm aware of, but I know it still creeps up, right? It's the feeling of superiority, like feeling essentially better than others, that others are inferior to you. Now, for me, the reason why I've ended up down this lane is because I was never really religious, and I say this in all my videos. Like, I was never really a devoted Christian, devoted Muslim. I was never, I never followed religion. But it was mainly because I had the thoughts, I had the belief. I believe in God, but I just couldn't. Religions just didn't make sense to me, right? They still don't. I mean, I'm understanding them more now, but they never really made sense to me. Like, I tried to follow them and I tried to be, devoted. I did try, but it never stuck because I never saw myself as that, because it never made real sense to me. Now, that's no hate on anyone. Like, I genuinely have love for everyone, right? Now, people say, oh, how can that be true? Like, what I'm trying to say is I have no hate for anyone. I merely feel indifferent. And I thought that made me very cold-hearted and insensitive. But now I see it as a kind of superpower, honestly. And the reason why I'm even saying all of this stuff is because, for me, going back to the song, like, rule number 3 anyways, because we can speak about the others, but rule number 3 specifically: save you some of that money. Shit, you better stop splurging, because when it's all said and done and you're back at the bottom, they're gonna treat you like you're worthless. Now, that kind of goes into what I was saying about the superiority and the inferiority kind of complex. But if you think about it like this, right? If I'm focused on creating a new reality, if I'm focused on building a better life for me, why do I feel the need to spend money to impress other people, to flex? It doesn't really make sense. But we do it. Well, I did it because I thought it gave me the status that I was after. But then when I realized that, there was a time when there was no one. There was a time when there was no one. And for you, if you decide to go through a journey like this, there will be a time where you feel completely isolated. And that's okay. It's okay to feel that way. I felt that way for over a year. And I still get hints of it today. But the only difference is now, because I've understood things and I'm in a different lane and I'm acting as a different version of me, and I have a new self-concept, a new perspective on who I am and the identity that I carry. Because we all have that choice. The version of you that's watching this video right now is constantly changing, constantly evolving. You who started this video does not have to be you who ends it. I can say you're one decision away from changing your life. But what is that really going to do for you if you don't understand why that is? Because that never really made sense to me either. I heard, oh, you're one decision away, and I was like, yeah, cool. I get that. But what are we talking about? Winning the lottery? Like, what? So for me, it was very, I needed, no, I wouldn't even call it reassurance, but I would say I needed some type of logic that backed everything that I was feeling and thinking. Now, again, going back to that status, that is only involved with your current lifestyle, with your current perspective of what you need because of ego, right? And to my understanding, the devil that we all associate with this world is ego. Now, that's just my belief. You don't need to believe that. But if I can give you the proof and the understanding that I have to create my own belief and my own understanding, I'm not trying to influence what you think. I'm not trying to influence what you do. I'm merely trying to give you a new perspective on how the world can be perceived. Because the only reason why you believe everything that you believe is because you've created that reality. The money that you have, the girl that you have, the cars that you have, the job that you have. Yes, a lot of that may have seemed materialistic, but it's part of your egotistical identity. Because that's not who you truly are. If you close your eyes, you're no longer the being that you see in the mirror. You know, this is why when people say love is blind, blind dates are a thing, because the connection that you feel between another person, yes, it's influenced by attraction, but attraction, to my understanding, is where we derive lust, or where lust derives from. Think about a blind person when they meet the love of their lives. They believe it's the love of their life because of what? Not because of the way they look. But there's something within their soul, within their inner being, that connects with someone else's vibration, with someone else's frequency, with someone else's entirety. Now, the reason why I do my videos like this is because I don't know where they're going to go. I don't know what angle, what take I'm going to go with. I'm just freestyling. I'm just going with the flow. I'm just expressing the thoughts that are in my mind. Because this is like a video journal for me. But if you're seeing this, it means that you have the chance to see another perspective, another reality. Now, it could be, you could view it as better or worse. There's no such thing, but you could see it that way. And there's nothing wrong with you seeing it that way, other than if you see it as negative, then you're going to compare. Like, we all know comparison is the thief of joy. Right? Comparison is the thief of joy. But why is that? Because as egotistical as it sounds, we're all self-centered beings. We all want the best for ourselves. We all act out of self-interest. Now, this is until we, of course, transcend. I mean, even when you're aligned with your soul purpose, right? If you believe in that, even to that degree, you're being self-centered because your actions would align with what you believe your soul is calling for. And it goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and the rabbit hole, continues. But that's kind of my understanding of where I'm at right now. And I'm using that to create the life that I want. So many people say to me, like, you're absurd, you're crazy, you're insane to even have these beliefs or these ambitions, right? But why? Because they're only crazy within that person's paradigm, within that person's belief systems. For me, it's a normal. It's normal to have these beliefs. It's normal for me to have these aspirations and ambitions. So the thing that I'm trying to understand is, why do people feel the need anyways to say to me, you're absurd, you're crazy, you're this? Now, even I may feel that my life is improving, and other people, I do understand it to some extent, because when I first started out and I started to transcend and I started to actually be at peace with who I was and the deeper rooted meaning of my life, or meaning that I gave to my life, that felt fully authentic, that felt in alignment. I remember everyone around me just feeling so low vibrational. Everyone just rubbed me the wrong way, and I felt superior. This is what I was speaking about earlier, the feeling of being better. And I've dealt with that, and I still do deal with that. It's part of the ego, the transformation in ego. You see, all of us have to kill ourselves multiple times, over and over again, not physically, but spiritually. Because that's where growth really is. To my understanding, that is where the biggest growth and inflection points in my life have been. When I killed the identity that I attached to my being. When I killed the current motivations that I had for greed or wealth in a negative way. Right? I remember I used to go to restaurants and say like, oh, like, if they speak to me like that, when I've got money, I'll drop 10k on the table, and I'll tell them like fuck off. I didn't want to swear, but what type of mentality, what type of, why did I feel that way? What was my association with money, with being arrogant, with, do you understand what I'm trying to say? You can tell me if I'm throwing strays right here, but that I'm being so genuine right now. And I think, well, if I didn't want to be that person, but that's how I associated money, why would money then be attracted to me if I was not the person that I believed I had to be to have money? You see how this stuff works? What really is the truth? There's no such thing. I remember I was gonna try and share the truth, but what is that? The truth is only something that you believe to be subconsciously. Consciously, we can say, oh yeah, this guy, this is what, but what you actually believe below the surface, that is your truth. If you believe that you're supposed to be poor, if you believe that you're supposed to be broke, guess what, buddy? And I've been there. I'm not saying this to attack anyone. This is just a reflection of me. If anything is resonating with you, it's because something within you is hearing and calling to you to make a change, to listen to yourself, to garner the power within your intuition and let it flourish. But that's what I got for you today. But